god of war. So, imagine you're Kratos. Yeah, that Kratos. The guy who looks like he could bench press a mountain and still have energy left to yell at the gods. In God of War, the gods don't just fall, they're torn apart by a man with nothing left to lose. Meet Kratos, a Spartan forged in battle, broken by betrayal. Tricked into slaughtering his own family, he turns his rage on the Greek gods, leaving behind a trail of shattered myths and divine blood. Armed with the blades of chaos, he's not just a warrior. He's a force of nature, an unstoppable storm of fury and vengeance. But gods never stay buried for long. Just when the dust settles, a new pantheon rises. The Norse gods, Odin, Thor, an entire realm of ancient power stands in his way. This time, it's not just about war, it's about Atreus, his son, his legacy, and the battle between the monster he was and the father he's trying to be. And then there are the villains. Greek or Norse, they're not just gods, they're manipulators, monsters, warriors with their own agendas. Ares, the architect of Kratos' suffering. Zeus, a tyrant clinging to his throne. Odin, a master of secrets, wielding knowledge like a weapon. These aren't faceless bosses. They're legends, twisted by ambition, fear, and fate. But Kratos himself, he's no flawless hero. His strength is unmatched, but his past is a chain he can't break. Ruthless, yet protective. Vengeful, yet weary. Every fight isn't just against gods. It's against himself, his rage, his regrets, and the question of whether he can ever be more than the killer the world made him. Project Moon. Okay, Project Moon is like that weird dream you can't quite explain but can't stop thinking about. The Project Moon universe is a maze of dystopian dread where freedom's just a rumor. Picture a world ruled by faceless corporations and cryptic entities where every street hums with tension. It's psychological horror meets existential crisis. Oppressive cities, fractured minds, and monsters that might be metaphors or might be all too real. Characters wrestle with impossible choices, caught between survival and sanity. Morality twists under the weight of corporate mandates, and the price of knowledge is often too steep to pay. Even victory feels hollow, another step deeper into the machine, another thread tangled in a web too vast to unravel. But the real horror? You're complicit. Every action, every desperate decision feeds the cycle. The system doesn't break. It bends, adapts, and swallows you whole. You're not saving the world. You're just making sure it keeps turning, one sacrifice at a time. And yet, there's beauty in the madness. The world is a living nightmare, but it's stunning. A labyrinth of neon-drenched despair, gothic monstrosities, and cryptic poetry woven into every shattered mind. Hope flickers like a dying light. And sometimes, just sometimes, the doomed find meaning in the abyss. In Project Moon, the scariest thing isn't the darkness. It's what's pulling the strings. Trevor Henderson, you know those creepy images that pop up online and make you go, nope, not sleeping tonight? That's Trevor Henderson's universe. Trevor Henderson's universe turns the everyday into a gallery of terror. No ancient curses or haunted castles here, just pure modern fear. Siren Head stalks the woods, its warped broadcasts luring the lost. Cartoon Cat prowls abandoned places, its grin stretched too wide, promising anything but fun. These creatures don't follow rules or tell tales. They exist to unsettle, born from internet whispers and our deepest anxieties. It's a scattered universe of one-off horrors, each a snapshot of dread. A long-limbed figure glimpsed in a grainy photo. A shape lurking at the edge of a street lamp's glow. No explanations, no context. Just the gut-wrenching certainty that something is there. But Henderson's horrors aren't just monsters. They're distortions of reality itself. They creep into liminal spaces, warping the familiar into something off, a hallway that stretches too far, a parking lot that never ends, a playground at dusk where the laughter stopped long ago. These aren't creatures you fight. They're ones you encounter, and when you do, you'll wish you hadn't. Because in Henderson's world, the scariest thing isn't what you see, it's what sees you. And once you've noticed it, you're already too late. Don't worry, I'll make a separate video on this. Hollow Knight. Ever thought a bug could make you cry? Welcome to Hollow Knight, where a tiny bug carries the weight of a dying world. Hallownest is a subterranean ruin, a kingdom of insects crumbling under a plague of sorrow. You're the knight, a silent drifter with a nail for a sword, uncovering secrets in every cavern. The art is haunting, the music is a dirge, and every boss is a tragic figure in a story bigger than you. But the deeper you go, the heavier it gets. The ruins whisper of a past that refuses to stay buried, monarchs who made desperate choices, warriors who fought battles already lost, and a city where hope turned to dust. Even your own purpose is uncertain. Are you a savior, or just another wandering shadow in a world long past saving? And the world? It doesn't care. Hallownest isn't waiting for a hero. Its tunnels stretch on, vast and uncaring, where forgotten gods slumber and cursed beings linger, clinging to the echoes of their former selves. Some will test you, others will beg you to end their suffering, and a few might even offer friendship. Fleeting, fragile, but real. It's less about conquest and more about understanding. What happened here? And can anything be saved? This universe is a quiet, beautiful heartbreak where even the smallest victories feel heavy, and even the strongest fade into forgotten echoes. But that's what makes it worth fighting for. Goosebumps. Oh, this one's my favorite. Remember staying up late as a kid, reading Goosebumps under the covers with a flashlight? Yeah, this is that, but in universe form. Think of a world where your lawn gnome's plotting revenge, your piano lessons come with a ghost, and that book you found? It's writing you into trouble. R.L. Stine's universe is a playground of scares, creepy, campy, and just twisted enough to keep you up past bedtime. The monsters are real, but the stakes are low, making every shiver a thrill ride with a safety net. But if there's one face that haunts the series, it's Slappy the Dummy, a grinning, wooden menace with a history as twisted as his sinister smirk. Slappy isn't just another evil toy. He's the villain of Goosebumps, returning again and again to torment anyone foolish enough to bring him to life, bound by a mysterious set of words. Karu Mari Odana Loma Molonu Karano. He isn't just alive, he's cursed. His origins trace back to an ancient sorcerer who crafted him with dark magic, sealing something far worse inside the wood. And once Slappy wakes up, there's no shutting him down. He's not a mindless puppet. He's got plans. Manipulative, cruel, and armed with a razor-sharp wit, he turns kids' lives into living nightmares, treating them like his personal playthings. But Slappy doesn't just haunt kids. Sometimes he goes bigger. One cursed night, under a full moon's eerie glow, he speaks the forbidden words again. But this time, he doesn't just wake himself up, he wakes all of them. The toy chest rattles, the shelves tremble, then silence, until the eyes start to glow. Plastic soldiers march with eerie precision, their rifles no longer harmless. Teddy bears twist their soft, stitched mouths into snarls. Rocking horses creak forward, step by unnatural step. Dolls with cracked porcelain faces turn their heads in perfect synchronized horror. The entire room comes alive, not with joy, but with hunger. And at the center of it all, Slappy, laughing, arms spread wide like a king welcoming his army. The house transforms into a battlefield. Wind-up robots grind forward with razor-sharp claws. Marionettes swing from the ceiling, their tangled strings wrapping around throats. Stuffed animals? Not so soft anymore. They lunge, their button eyes gleaming with something wrong. The poor kid trapped in the middle? Running, hiding, praying for morning. But Slappy isn't just here for mayhem. No, he wants a family. A world where he's in charge, and every toy bends to his will. And as the nightmare unfolds, one question lingers. When the sun rises, will anything still be human? Hellbound. Imagine if hell opened a branch on Earth, and you're the unlucky soul stuck in the middle. In Hellbound, the afterlife isn't a rest stop, it's a slaughterhouse. Imagine a world where demons spill into reality, and survival means facing them head on. It's gritty, it's gory, and it's got no time for heroes. Just fighters clawing through a hellscape of fire and despair. The stakes? Outlast the damned or join them. Every gunshot, every scream is a defiance of the inevitable. The air is thick with smoke and the stench of burning flesh, the ground slick with blood from battles that never end. There's no mercy here, no second chances, just endless carnage in a world where death is the only certainty. But even in hell, some refuse to kneel. The lost souls who fight back aren't chosen ones. They're desperate, broken, and angry. A soldier who died with unfinished business, a criminal too stubborn to pay for his sins, or a priest whose faith shattered the second he saw what awaited beyond death. Each one carries their own ghosts, their own reasons to pick up a weapon and rage against the abyss. And the battles? They're not just brutal. They're apocalyptic. A lone warrior tearing through a horde with nothing but a bloodied axe. A last stand on a crumbling bridge as the damned swarm like locusts. A desperate sprint through tunnels collapsing into rivers of fire. Every fight is a question. How much pain can you take before you break? Hellbound doesn't promise salvation. It dares you to keep swinging when the odds are stacked to eternity. Because here, the only way out is through. And the only thing worse than dying is what happens if you stop fighting. Darksiders. What if the four horsemen of the apocalypse were actually kind of cool? In Darksiders, the apocalypse is a family affair, and the family's got attitude. The four horsemen, war, death, fury, and strife, ride into a world where heaven and hell are tearing Earth apart. It's a cosmic free-for-all, blending biblical badassery with over-the-top action. You're not here to save the day. You're here to settle scores in a sandbox of rubble and ruin. Each horseman brings their own brand of destruction. War's brute strength, death's grim precision, fury's relentless rage, and strife's gunslinger swagger. But it's not just the battles. It's the characters that make Darksiders unforgettable. War, the walking embodiment of wrath, fights with the weight of a false accusation. Death, skeletal and smirking, carves through legions with twin scythes and a soul too burdened to break. Fury, defiant and wild, battles to prove her worth, while strife cracks jokes between headshots, knowing sometimes the best way to face the end is to laugh. The world itself is a battlefield, crumbling cities, cathedrals twisted into demonic fortresses, and abandoned heavens where angels whisper of war's true cost. Because in Darksiders, the apocalypse isn't just about destruction, it's about the weight of destiny, the sting of betrayal, and the question that haunts every warrior. Who will be left to tell the tale? Devilman. In Devilman, the line between monster and man isn't just crossed, it's erased. Akira Fudo's your guide, a kind-hearted boy who fuses with a demon to fight an invasion, only to realize that humanity might be the greater threat. The demons are savage, the battles are brutal, and the blood flows like a river. But the real horror? It's not the fangs or the claws. It's the human heart. Jealousy, hatred, fear. Those are what turn this war into a nightmare. Before the world burned, before the bloodshed and betrayals, Akira Fudo was just a kind-hearted boy, too soft for a world like this. But that all changed the night he became Devilman. Dragged into the shadows by Rio, Akira finds himself at a twisted underground ritual where humans give themselves to demons in a frenzy of violence and possession. The air is thick with screams, the walls painted in blood, and then they come. Horrors beyond comprehension, all teeth and malice, descend upon the crowd. Flesh tears, bodies twist, souls are devoured, and in the eye of the storm, Rio stands calm, watching, waiting. Then it happens. The moment that seals Akira's fate. A demon, Amon, ancient, powerful, unstoppable, claims him, his monstrous spirit flooding through Akira's veins. But instead of losing himself, Akira fights back. He doesn't surrender. He takes control. Now, I've got some seriously wild universes lined up for Part 7, so hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out. Oh, and if you've got your own Dark Universe suggestions, drop them in the comments.